Here's Ethereum on the hourly chart. Let me first say congratulations Ethereum holders on all-time highs. Congratulations altcoin holders for Ethereum breaking all-time high. It's a very big deal. I'm going to break down why in this video. On the macro, it's a huge deal. This is an hourly chart though. And many of you know I've been kind of on the road, working from the car, doing videos from the car lately. And I haven't been as in touch with what's going on with price, but I was very much watching this entire move on this hourly Ethereum chart. And on the short term, we broke all-time highs and then we crashed right back down. In this video, I want to explain what is going on here. Many of you, if this is not your first cycle, you might actually already know and you don't even know it. You might just subconsciously know. And I want to explain what it is. So if it is your first cycle and you're trying to figure this out, I'm going to explain what's going on. I want to look at a Cardano chart. Right now, Cardano, this is a good moment as Ethereum just broke all-time highs to look at Cardano, because I know there's Cardano people out there that are like, what's going on with Cardano? Ethereum's breaking all-time highs and Cardano's still pretty far from all-time highs. I want to explain that exactly what is going on there. It's incredibly simple. So hit the subscribe and like on the way in if you're not in our intelligence system with our risk models, our exit planners. If you are a macro investor and you want to strategize, if you want to have a plan to take profits and to sell when things get crazy, then get in here. We have a trial going on right now. Try it all out. We have a ton of risk models and tools back there. If you don't like it, just cancel. So before we look at the Ethereum charts and the Cardano charts and explain kind of the price action, I do want to start with two things. Number one is Bitcoin dominance, a glance at the monthly. We are 7 days away around from seeing if this monthly candle will close below the 20-month moving average. The last time this happened, this is what basically kickstarted altcoin season last cycle in 2021 in January. So that's all the way back here. You see the similarities of these charts. Besides that, I want to explain this. This is what's going on here. This is just what it is. I saw this post. It's not too long, and I think it will really frame things very nicely as we start looking at price action. Longs liquidated, then shorts liquidated, then longs liquidated again. Next, probably the shorts that piled in during the recent flush. This is what's happening here. There is all of these liquidations in these candles that you see, and people keep getting drawn back in over and over. I will say one thing, stop using leverage. I get comments, unless you know how to use leverage. I will tell you right now, the majority of people do not know how to use leverage properly, and they're losing money over and over. They're getting sucked into pumps, they're going long with leverage, and then market makers and exchanges are just washing them out. That's what's happening. Anyway, why do you think market makers are working so hard to shake everyone out of leveraged positions, especially longs? Maybe, just maybe, because they're planning a big move and they don't want the crowd to profit from it too easily. Who said this cycle, here's altcoin charts, this is altcoin chart. Who said it was going to be easy, first of all? And secondly, I started thinking actually, if you're a macro long-term investor, and I know really probably the silent majority of you are that don't even comment, there has been a lot of negativity lately, and it just clicked for me. If you've been around all through this move, and you haven't gotten like your 10, 20 crazy X, like 30X, 40X, you haven't gotten it yet. But if you've been here, right, from bear market lows, you're doing pretty well, and you're pretty like primed and set. Maybe you want to be prepared even more, fine. But there's really no reason to complain right now, right? If you've been here and you've been waiting and accumulating, other than you've wanted quicker gains, right? And we all want quicker gains, but who said it was going to be that easy? And I don't mind that it's not that easy. We all want it to pump and go parabolic. But with that being said, I really do think much of retail is we're reading through this thread here, I think a lot of people are getting sucked into this game. And so when they see even analysis from someone like me that is very macro-minded, I zoom out on the charts. I'm not so much playing the zoomed-in game. I think my bullish temperament on the macro frustrates people that keep getting sucked in and playing this game, and they're back and forth. They're bullish and they're bearish, and they're bullish and they're bearish. Zoom out on the charts. So this post says, I'd recommend you go back and look at the history of the magic internet money market. Check out what always happened right before the market went parabolic. Connect the dots, then it will all make sense. And I started thinking, you know, it's so true. We've been really focused on market manipulation this cycle, but this is something that I think has been happening every cycle. And so I wanted to see, as Ethereum just broke all-time highs, right? This is what just happened here. And we're saying there's a manipulation in here. Well, what did it look like last cycle when it was breaking all-time highs? And then I want to connect the dots to a Cardano chart. And it's going to really, you're going to really, if you look at this objectively, it makes complete sense. So here's Ethereum now in the daily. What I want to do is I want to go back here. So now all of a sudden we are back in 2021, in January 19th, 2021. You see this move, breaking this yellow line? That's Ethereum breaking all-time highs. You might think, man, previous cycles, Ethereum just broke all-time highs with ease. Boom, done, parabolic. Well, there it is. And then notice the quick rejection, and really from the swing high to swing low, Ethereum dipped 27%. And if you just look even days or a little over a week or so before that move to all-time high, Ethereum had just dipped 32%. So what we're going through right now, if we look at a daily chart on Ethereum, do you see similarities right now? First off, prior to breaking all-time highs, Ethereum just was down 15%. Then we make this move to the upside. The question is, are we going to get like a post all-time high, like last cycle, right? A post all-time high right here, crash. And you can see Ethereum went below the 20 and above the 50. And here we are in Ethereum right now. Is Ethereum going to just start falling below the 20 in between the 50? This is an area anyway from a technical analysis perspective that I've just been watching on Ethereum. If you've been watching my analysis, anytime Ethereum gets overextended, I like to see cryptos pull into this area between the 20 and the 50, right? There it is to the 20, pumped all-time highs. Are we coming back down? Maybe, maybe not. But if we do, we can call it manipulation. Even if we don't call it manipulation, we could just call it the volatility of the crypto market. And one thing is for sure, it's always been this way. This is nothing new. Last cycle when Ethereum was breaking all-time highs, there was the exact same type of volatility. And notice, January 19th, 2021. I just did this, I think, in a recent video, but I just want to make note of it because this is what I think of now, these risk models, as I'm doing my own analysis. And this is partly what I'm using my risk models for. A risk score of 80 last cycle when Ethereum was breaking all-time highs. The risk score now in Ethereum is 59, which is incredibly bullish. We're not even that overheated compared to last cycle when Ethereum was breaking all-time highs. So when I say I think things are just still getting started, we've not seen nothing yet, we've not seen anything yet, I know people get irritated at that. And there could be many reasons for that, but it's just genuinely what I think when I look at all of this data together and I look at our risk models, which is proprietary data based on a lot of different moving parts. So that's Ethereum. And the Ethereum analysis plays right into the Cardano charts. And you might be like, well, how? Because Cardano is looking terrible. Here's Cardano on the daily. What I want to do is I want to go back to this scenario last cycle where Cardano, or where Ethereum was breaking all-time high. And I want to look at, well, what was Cardano doing? Well, here's January 19th, 2021. Here's when Ethereum was breaking all-time high. Here's Cardano chart. Cardano was 240% away from all-time high. If you zoom out on the chart, there it is. All-time high all the way back there, 240%. Ethereum is breaking all-time high, and Cardano's at 240%. Also notice, it was still within this bull market door area, this red, below this upper end of this red rectangle that you see here. That's the bull market door breakout area. Cardano was testing that. If we go to Cardano now, we're not testing the exact upper end of that area, but that's the bull market doors this cycle, very close. And the question is, all right, well, how far are we from all-time high right now? As Ethereum just broke all-time high. Almost exactly the same as last cycle. 249% or so from all-time high. So Ethereum's price action is exactly identical to last cycle so far. And people are just freaking out. But not only that, you've taken it to the next level with Cardano, Cardano sentiment, Cardano holders, Cardano haters, whatever you want. Just absolutely saying Cardano is underperforming, it looks terrible. When really, Cardano and many altcoins, they're just doing what they do. as somebody who's been through cycles, for me, this is what altcoins do. This is not surprising to me, but I think I have lost kind of that repetition of saying that, because there's been so much like fear, uncertainty, and doubt when it comes to something like Cardano chart. And I kind of just been like letting it go, just say, just the haters are the haters, whatever. But I think it needs to be said, welcome to crypto. And if you see people that are like, Cardano's underperforming, Cardano looks terrible, Ethereum just broke all-time high, what's Cardano doing? I just will tell you this, they're emotional people. They have no, I don't want to say access, but they've not been looking at the data. We just looked at the data. This is what Cardano is doing last cycle. The Cardano setup right now is looking very strong from a technical analysis perspective. There's this inverse head and shoulders we've been tracking, right? This right shoulder rejected at the neckline. It's still in play though, because Cardano has consolidated down, but we're still in this higher low environment, right? We've not broken down below this right shoulder at 68 cents. We could. I hope we don't. But this entire structure is in play, and this is such a small piece of structure. This is the move, if Cardano can do it and break out of this neckline around $1, this is the move that can break Cardano's bull market doors around $1.20 to $1.25. And the velocity in which I think Cardano can reach, boom, towards the $2 area is faster than most people think. And so that leads us to the next piece of structure, which is this, which is kind of this broadening wedge of sorts, right? You see this kind of like lower trend line kind of extending out. If I could draw it properly, let me get an actual trend line. But you have this kind of broadening wedge that is higher highs, higher lows. And we're waiting to see if we can make that breakout move to the upper trend line. And it's up and towards $1 or $2. So this mini inverse head and shoulders can be the move that triggers towards $2. And then guess what? Well, then we're talking all-time high test and then price discovery test. This exact setup at this moment when Ethereum is breaking all-time high is where ADA was last cycle at this moment. And there's all that upside. The thing that's different this cycle is I think the Cardano chart this cycle, and I know it's been frustrating, there's not been that 10-20x for people. But I will say this, being up from bear market lows at one point, 400, almost 500%, and right now we're up 300%, and I don't even think the move has started, this is not terrible. So this is why I play the long game. There's patience involved, there's planning and strategizing involved, but that's what I'm here for. I can't get wrapped up in the short term. But Cardano's move is looking very healthy so far from bear market lows. If we enter this bullish environment where Ethereum starts really going into price discovery and altcoins have their breakout moment like they did last cycle, Cardano can hit $2, $3 very quickly. I'm not going to give a time frame on that. Just know, and we can revisit the video if this plays out, know that it can happen very quickly. And we might very well be playing this clip, maybe not even too far away from now, where Cardano actually did do that. It hit $2, we're approaching $3 quickly. I don't know how it will play out. The cycle is different in that it's a slower growth. It's a more healthy growth on these charts. And we've not gotten this parabolic crazy run out of nowhere, right? It's just been higher highs, higher lows, a lot of volatility, a lot of manipulation. But I'm here for it. I'm playing the long game. Wanted to share this data with you as we kind of evaluate price. Right now, it's just kind of like we have a new candle a couple hours ago and everybody's wondering probably what Ethereum's next move is. And I'm just going to continue monitoring these charts. And we'll track this as we go into this new week. We'll see how markets are looking tomorrow morning, what narratives are out there, and we'll do some analysis on all of these things. So hopefully you got some value from this video. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Turn notifications on. And again, please check out our risk model. There's a link below. We have a 7-day free trial. And we have a ton back here, everybody. We've got a new dashboard coming. I'm in our staging area right now. It's not live, but it's coming very soon. We've got our risk models, on-chain metrics, shorter-term momentum tool called the Bull Bear Arena, our exit planner, our beta autonomous AI, which you can talk about all of your strategies with and continue strategizing and planning. So appreciate you watching. I hope you have a good week, and I will see you in the next video. God bless.